I am Yemisi Ajayi, and it is time to hear from the horse's mouth. And with me today is a man of the people, a comrade. He was once a local government chairman, the former Minister of Interior of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and presently a senator representing South Central District of Benue State, Senator Abba Patrick Moro. Thank you, sir, for coming, for having this interview with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so sir, let's go straight to the business. Who is Comrade Abba Patrick Moro? We want to know you beyond your politics, and your views, your goals, and philosophy of life.
My name is Abba Moro. I am the senator representing the very good people of the Benue South Senatorial District. I got elected in the general elections of 2019. Of course, before then, as you also pointed out, I was the Minister of Interior.
Yes.
I was chairman of my local government between 1999 2006. I was before then lecturer at the Benue State Polytechnic, and eventually I became the coordinator of the PDP campaign in Benue State in 2007 during the campaigns of our revered former President late Yaradua and Jonathan, Goodluck Jonathan. From there, I rose to become the chairman of Governing Council and the pro-chancellor of the Michael Opera University of Agriculture, Umudike, in Abia State, and subsequently became the chairman of Governing Council and the pro-chancellor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Makali.
Yeah.
It was from there that I rose to become the Minister of Interior of the Federal Republic of Nigeria between 2011 and 2015. Previously, while I was in the Polytechnic, I was the pioneer chairman of the governing board of the College of Education at Uju in Benue State. And so at various times I have moved in from politics to academics, from academics to theory, chairman of various parastatals in Nigeria. And so today, by the grace of God and the will of God and the support of my people, the senator representing the Benue South Senatorial District of Benue State.
What are your achievements and what are your plans going forward?
I have tried to influence the system. I have proposed about 8 bills, all of them tending towards the welfare of the people. I've lent my voice to very many debates, ranging from the economic situation of the country to the security situation of the country and the deteriorating infrastructure that we have in the country here. I've raised over 6-7 motions, particularly on issues that touch on the people of the Benue South Senatorial District. When people talk in Nigeria of empowerment, they talk in terms of the physical. And so, upon assumption of office, inheriting the legacies of the former Senate President, Senator David Mark, we've been able to distribute motorcycles, machines, grinding machines, sewing machines to our people, saloon equipment to help our people, for specific persons that have been trained in those directions. Some of the teething problems that we have today, the agitations and the demonstrations that we have today, is the true fact that some people are not happy. I know that there are some mischief makers and hoodlums that take advantage of this. But I also convince myself that, look, you can't find a rich man stealing in the literal sense of it. I've never heard of a very rich man being an armed robber or a kidnapper. It must be some frustrated degenerates that participate in these things. And it means that the society has not provided for them. It means that they are dissatisfied with the way society is and their place in the society. And so that is why they become really canons when agitations and demonstrations occur. So when I entered politics in the first place, my desire was to impart on the lives of the people, to ameliorate the sufferings of the people, to attempt to build an egalitarian society where everybody is happy. And it informed my dogged effort to bring electricity to my village and my local government. I was the one that connected my local government headquarters to the national grid when I was chairman of the local government. And I said, look, if I stay in the village, if there is no light, my neighbor wouldn't have light, I wouldn't have light. So if I have light, my neighbor will have light.
Yes.
And I want light. So if I stay in the village, if there is no water, my neighbor will not have water, I will not have water. And so the need for me to provide water for the community had always been there. So the problem of society is a general problem that affects everybody. And so if you are in a position of leadership, I think that it is your responsibility. So pretending over the common resource of the country, it is your responsibility to provide all these services.
Yes.
And if you get, the other person gets. And if everybody gets, then everybody is happy. And so I think that it is our responsibility as people in positions of leadership to provide for the ordinary person, the less privileged person. Because I think that if God created all of us equal, positions that we occupy are merely privileges. And if God has been so kind to you, not being the tallest, not being the fattest, not being the most intelligent, not being the most educated, and God places you in the position of authority, God means that you should use that position, just like He uses His position of Almighty to grant favors to you.
Yes, sir.
God means that you should use your position in authority to ameliorate the living conditions of the people. That is exactly what I have tried to do all my life, and I will continue to do.
And you've done so much for your people. That's very commendable, sir. So concerning the security situation of the country, as the Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Army and the member Senate Committee on Defense, what else will the Senate do to guarantee the safety of lives and properties of Nigerians in the face of rising insecurity and insurgency, especially in Benue State?
We have this intractable security situation in our country that rather than abating, we are seeing an aggravation of the security challenge that we've been facing. As Minister of Interior, I was the chairman of the Executive Council Committee that wrote the white paper on the Northeast Crisis Report. And far-reaching recommendations were made. But I think that we have not been able to follow through the implementation of some of the recommendations. And that is why we're having very serious problems. One of the recommendations that was made then was that Army on the war of liberation overtakes Boko Haram elements in the Northeast, for instance, and crushes them and moves on. Boko Haram elements, people, are not just, they're not spirits, they're human beings.
Yes.
They live with us.
Yes.
And so, by the time the soldiers liberate a particular town like Goza, for instance, and move on to the next town, adequate arrangements are not made on the ground for consolidation. And so it was recommended then that special forces should be trained to take over the town as soon as the soldiers liberate and then move on. But unfortunately, because of the non-implementation of some of these recommendations, by the time soldiers liberate a particular town and move on, the Boko Haram elements regroup within the town and take over the town again. And so we've been having these forward and backward movements in our attempt to dislodge these elements. And of course, in most cases, we are not sincere to ourselves. When you say Boko Haram is technically defeated, and we're still having the insurgency at its highest peak, it doesn't make sense. You know, it doesn't make sense. Because it makes people lose confidence even in the system.
Yes.
Because the people who feel it are there. And when you talk, and they know that that is far from the truth, they lose confidence in the system. And so I think it's a very sad development. And coupled with that, the insurgency and crisis that we have across the country are not like regular wars that you can fight and say, look, I've decimated them, I've killed them and the rest of them. No, it's very asymmetric. And because of its nature, they keep targeting vulnerable areas.
Yes.
And our people are literally helpless. It's not like America where everybody is entitled to carry a gun to defend himself. So we are left at the mercy of the soldiers. And how many soldiers we have? The hoodlums, the insurgents are more sophisticatedly equipped than our regular security agencies.
Yes.
And of course, if you have watched the Nigerian narrative of what has been happening across the country, it has been the same story. But, and again, I keep insisting, we cannot be doing the same thing the same way all the time and expect a different result.
Mm-hmm.
These things have to change.
Exactly.
The tactics have to change.
Exactly.
But embedded in the whole challenge that we have here is the problem of tribalism and ethnicity.
Okay.
The Southwest is talking about Omotekun to tackle their own problems.
Mm-hmm.
The Southeast is talking about Ogbunibi or whatever system that they want to do. The North Central is contemplating the setting up of an outfit. And so we are literally divided on what approach to use in tackling our common problem of insecurity. And so today, kidnapping is on the high rise, armed robbery has resurfaced after it had virtually gone underground, and killings, unavoidable killings of innocent citizens is on the rise. And so I think that as Vice Chairman of the Army and a member of the Defense Committee, what we have been trying to do in the recent past is to see how we can specifically encourage the Nigerian Army to develop a strategy that can contain the situation. Because, you know, the Army ordinarily is not, doesn't have the responsibility of quelling internal insurrections. Lack of adequate personnel and sophistication of the Nigerian police, whose responsibility it is ordinarily to contain the situation. And so recently there have been these clamorings for state police, there have been this clamoring for community policing and the rest of them. And I say, look, these problems occur in our various villages, in our various communities. And so why don't we adopt as a common platform for tackling this problem the community policing option? Because in the community, everybody knows everybody.
Yes.
And if everybody is encouraged to take responsibility for the protection of lives and property, then we would have gone a long way in solving the problem.
Yes.
Then you wouldn't need soldiers to come to your rescue anymore.
Yes.
Because if, for instance, in the Bokulu community, we have about 30 well-trained persons in the rules of engagement and in warding off external aggression, then you don't need any external body or force to come and tackle the problem for you.
Yes.
And so I think that the earlier we decide as a country to develop a common platform for tackling this common problem of insecurity, whether it is manifested in kidnapping or armed robbery or insurgency, it's insecurity. Insecurity is insecurity.
Yes.
And we must be able to find a way around it. And we are working around the clock to encourage the Nigerian Army to develop an appropriate strategy or policy strategy that can tackle the problem. And the first step that we are taking is to ensure that they are adequately provided for in the budget of the nation to be able to procure the equipment and procure the personnel and of course engage in proper training to be able to tackle the situation.
Rumors are already flying that you may likely become the next governor of Benue State and the first minority to do so. So how true is this? Do you have any such ambition?
You see, I'll be very happy to become the governor of Benue State, no doubt about it. But like I said, wishes are not horses.
Okay.
My people are clamoring to become governor in 2023 to contribute their own quota to the development of Benue State. I support it. But as a person, as a matter of principle, I believe in one thing at a time.
Yeah.
At the moment, by the will of God, the grace of God, I'm the senator representing the people of Benue South Senatorial District. And like you have also noted, I've barely spent 1 year plus in the office.
Yes, sir.
I think it will be uncharitable for me to begin now to work towards becoming a governor. Because like 2007, God has been merciful to me. I'm here in a position, and that position has a mandate. Until I finish executing that mandate, I think it will be unfair.
Yes.
And I'm grateful to God for me now to say, make me the next governor of Benue State. Of course, many people like me, they love what I'm doing, they want me to be more than what I am, they want me to be in a position where I can impart on all of them and the rest of them. But it didn't start yesterday. It has been there. The love of my people for me has been there. So if that was enough to make me anything, I would have been president by now. You know? But like I said, on a more realistic note, my people want to be governor in 2023. And as the senator representing them, I am leading the charge. And convincing our brothers, the chiefs, the Igedes and the rest of them that compose Benue State to support us to produce a governor. It can be anybody, but somebody that is competent enough to discharge the responsibilities of the office of the governor. If eventually I finish my journey here and it becomes necessary for me to contest for governor, yes, I will contest for governor. But right now, I'm concentrating on this assignment of being a senator representing my people.
We are looking forward to that day, sir.
By the grace of God.
Yes, we've gotten to the end of the program and we've heard from the horse's mouth. So thank you very much, Senator, for giving us the time to be here today. So that's the end of the show. I am Yemisi Ajayi. See you next time.
Welcome to Solution the Solution. I am Yemisi Ajayi.
So what do you think about the youth clamoring for inclusion in government?
Nobody is stopping anybody from being included in their leadership.
Our major problem in this country, as I always say, is institutional failure.
We need to decentralize power. Enough of this, everybody coming to Abuja to come and let every region stay on their own and contribute to the center.
The hoodlums, the insurgents are more sophisticatedly equipped than our regular security agencies.
Who are around screening local governments into their flag? Southeast has woken up. You now have a good government in Southeast.
The economy of the country, we are not happy with so many things, the security situation of the country, but it's a collective responsibility.
Yemisi Ajayi.